Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Quick question for you. Have you ever thought about starting an e-commerce store but had no idea where to start, what tools to use, what products to sell? Maybe you've been a little bit worried that you aren't techie enough to pull it off. Well, if any of those sound like you, then you are in the right place. As I'm going to share my lessons learned journey with you and show you how easy it actually is to have a store or add a store to your existing business or a product line to your existing business for an additional revenue stream. So I think that there's such an opportunity right now when it comes to e-commerce that we need to potentially pay attention. So good morning. As you guys are coming in, just give me a shout out. Where in the world are you? I see Lisa is here. I am still in Virginia, taking care of my dad. My dad's 96 years old, or young, as we say, 96 years young, and in need of 24/7 care right now. So, and it's a little bit nippy this morning. Somebody forgot to tell the big guy that it's July, right? So, hey Marie, oh my goodness, girl, it is so good to see you. So, Lisa, you're here in Virginia? All right. So, Nora from Ireland, girl, what time is it where you are right now? And we got Mississippi in the house. All right. Good to see you, Marty. Oh, Paul, it's always lovely to see you. So Paul is up in Maryland. Um, so couple of quick things. If you've never been on one of my shows before, have just bumped into me somehow, drop in #new and let's introduce ourselves, wave to each other. My name is Kim Garst. I'm an online monetization strategist. It just means I love to help people make more money in their business. One of the things that we do every Monday, usually at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, is I host this Marketing That Grows Your Business show. Now, today, we were supposed to have Jay Bear. Last week, I promised you guys Jay Bear. Well, Jay got an opportunity to take his son to the NBA playoffs. And I'm like, dude, take him, go. Being there and having that experience versus being here with us, well, y'all, it's just, we just going to have to suck it up. We'll get Jay back in here some other time. So I was like, so many people ask me about e-com and adding product lines and things of that nature. So I thought I'd share my journey with you. Hey Fayed, good to see you. And we got Bangladesh in the house. Good to see you guys. Lisa's from Fredericksburg. Well, that's up just a little bit from me. I'm in the Roanoke area, roughly in the middle of nowhere. But it's all good. We got a beautiful view here. All right, so Lisa, good morning. Philadelphia in the house. Donna, good to see you. So a couple of things I want to share real quick before we get started and I start sharing this journey with you, this e-com journey and how I started my store. We do giveaways every week here. In case you've never been on one of my shows before, we do giveaways every week. And what we normally do, and we're going to do it again this week, is if you'll share your aha moments, like, what's an aha moment? Let's talk about that real quick. An aha moment's like if, oh man, I needed to hear that, or I didn't know that, or I did know it, but I needed to hear it again. Those are what we call aha moments. And just drop those in there, that space down there, drop in what they are. So if you'll share your aha moments, you'll be entered into the Wheel of Wow. So those of you who are here with me every week, I've struggled to name my Wheel of Wow. Now I can say it because I know what it is now because I've named it. But it's basically we enter your names into it. And at the end of today's show, we will draw the winners. And what are we going to win? Let's talk about what you're going to win, what you have an opportunity to win this week. I'm excited about this week because one, we're going to be talking about e-commerce, and specifically in partnership with my friends over at Canva.store, they've given me 5 domain names for you guys. So we're going to have 5 winners today instead of 2. 5 winners are going to get domain names from the .store of your choice. The .store, it's a domain registry, so you'll be able to register any domain you want with a .store extension. So I'm super excited about that. So that's going to be what we're going to be giving away today. Let me get, is that, I think that was, yeah, that is, oh, let me, one other thing. We love the love around here. So if you want to sprinkle this out into the world, you know, give us some emojis, tag somebody that you feel like would be interested in this. Do it, and we'll have as many people as we can to share in this, me dumping all this knowledge on you this morning, okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you. So Lisa says, I was just looking into starting a store because yours is so awesome. Well, ours, the one that I've got, and I'm going to share it with you guys in just a moment, is a work in progress. In fact, let me just pull it up because I think that will give you a frame of reference for why I want to share this with you. Now, I'm going to kind of tell you the story on the front side, and then I want to get into what the process that we went through to get where we are, okay? And then how easy it is. Now, the interesting part about this is it's going to be easy for you to replicate this because we've kind of made the decisions and learned the hard lessons as we went, and I'm going to share those with you so that you don't have to figure out, okay, well, how do I do this? It is so easy today to get up and running. I mean, you could literally do this in a day. I am not kidding you. You could do this in a day. All right, so let me pull my screen up here. Okay, so this is my new, it's fairly new. We've been working on it probably for about 6 months now. It is still not exactly where we want it to be, in all transparency. There's still some things that we want to develop, but long story short, the theme of this is going to be about a workplace that you love to work in. You know, I don't know about you guys, but like, you know, finding like wall art that matches or that says something that is a part of your business, especially if you're doing video or live streaming like I'm doing right now, you want a backdrop, right? Now, don't let my backdrop right now be an indicator because, like I say, that's one of the things we haven't figured out yet. But as you can see here, coming soon is the wall art. But we have notebooks, mouse pads, mugs, t-shirts, pillows. And the best part, this is the best part, y'all, is that none of this is inventory that's in my garage. I don't have to ship anything. I don't have to track inventory. I don't have to do any of that. The only thing I had to do was put up a storefront and choose a few products, design some stuff in Canva. Yes, in Canva. And I was in business. Okay, so thank you, Chuck. It is story branded, so Chuck will know what that means. Okay, so let me pull up my screen again because I want to share this whole process with you. I want to, let me see, hang on, give me a minute, here we go. Okay, so again, how to start your first online store the non-techy way. That's kind of the theme of today's show. Let's first, I really want to dig into this because if I can't share with you why this is important to you, then this is going to be a null and void conversation. Like, you know, you're not going to get any value out of it if you don't understand the opportunity that is in front of you. So let's talk about why you might want to start an online store. Well, golly, guys, e-commerce is through the roof. So let me share back in the day. So back in, oh, hang on just a second. Let me back that up. My mouse is going everywhere this morning. It is not wanting to cooperate. Give me a second. Let me get my mouse working here, y'all. All right. Okay. It is just continuing to fast forward. I can't get my mouse to work. Goodness gracious. It is always something just when you... Hang on, y'all. We're going to figure this out. There we go. Okay, so back in the day, like in 1991, when I first started my first business, my first online business. So dating myself big time. But in 1991, e-com wasn't really a thing yet. It was just beginning. The internet was just beginning to become internet or commercial, I guess is the word I'm talking about or searching for. And so that journey continued until about 1999. It was actually 97, I would say. By about 1997, people had gotten to where they were pretty comfortable putting their credit cards out there. There was a lot more e-commerce in the space, and that was pretty much an accepted way of doing business. Now, today, that has continued to just skyrocket. And of course, with the whole advent of COVID, y'all, this genie is out of the bottle, and it is not going back in. So, but let's take a look at the numbers, because I think the numbers are going to blow your socks off. So if you take a look at e-commerce sales from in the early days up to where we are now, e-commerce share of total global retail sales from 2015 to 2023, projected growth anyway, all the way up through 2023. It just keeps going up and up and up. But let's take a look at some specific numbers. $861 billion were spent with U.S. merchants alone in 2020. That's up an incredible 44% year over year. The highest annual e-com sales in 2 decades, and nearly triple the 15% jump in 2019. So COVID has given us a huge jump in e-com sales. And this is what's interesting. It's estimated that there's going to be 14 billion global digital buyers in 2021. So, okay, 14 billion, how does that equate to the overall population? That's almost 30% of the world's population shops online. Okay, you might think, well, that's not a whole lot. There's only room to grow, right? I mean, if you think about it, more and more people are shopping online than ever. And e-com sales are expected to account for 18.1% of retail sales worldwide in 2021. So if you think about that, there's a huge slice of opportunity here. And then again, more than 75% of people are shopping online once at a minimum a month because of convenience. Now, I want to ask a quick question. Let me get my screen back up here. How many of you guys are shopping online? And more specifically, this is the question I really want you to answer, is now that things are opening back up after COVID, people are getting their vaccinations and things are kind of settling back into some sense of normalcy. Are you finding that you're still shopping online? I just want to get kind of a litmus test for how many of you guys are still shopping online. So for me, I definitely am. I mean, first thing, honestly, if there's not an Amazon box at my door daily or someplace, then it's, my husband's like, what, we didn't get anything from Amazon today? It's not quite daily, but it does happen quite frequently. Yeah, I mean, we shop online. Now, a lot of times people will say, well, then, it's just the biggies. It's like people go to Amazon. They're not going to go to my small little store. Yes, they will. And technically you can sell the same things on your store that you could sell those same things on Amazon. We'll talk about that in just a minute too. So I'm a huge fan of understanding the opportunity and, figuring out why this matters to you. Okay, so I'm just looking, it looks like, so Rhonda is saying, yes, she's still shopping online. Lisa says, I shop online for some things. And Chuck is still shopping online. Yeah, so a lot of us are still shopping online. Definitely, I'm still shopping online. But this is the part that I want you to think about. how easy it can be today for you to start your own store. And I'm going to walk you through this process, but the tools are there to make your life easy. So again, back in the day, like in 1991, building a website and having tracking your inventory and all this stuff that went into e-com was hard. Today, it is not the case. Today, there are resources out there like, Shopify and other types of tools where your inventory is controlled. You don't even have to figure out what products to sell. There's so many opportunities out there today that make our lives easy when it comes to, if we decide to go down this road, there is no reason that absolutely anyone can't do it. But this is the key, and I really want to key in on this because for those of us who already have businesses, and I'm assuming that all of you do, then you're like, okay, well, do I need a store? I've already got a business, so do I need a store? And the short answer is perhaps. It could be another revenue stream for you. It could be something that is in alignment with your existing brand. It could be something else. It could be something you're super passionate about that you've wanted to do. You just didn't know how to do it before. But for me, as a personal brand, I just started out kind of dipping my toe in and creating things that was in alignment with my personality and my brand. And that's kind of the direction I've gone. I have a bigger vision for my store long term, but right now I just wanted to get started, and that's kind of where I'm at. Just again, to give myself a little bit more revenue coming in every day. Okay. So this is, though, the thing. You guys that are operating businesses online, a lot of times, we're sitting around in our PJs and we don't take showers for 3 days. Okay, I admitted it. How many of you guys feel that you do that sometimes? But with an online store, you can literally run your store, your shop from anywhere in the world in your PJs. And, obviously have an additional revenue stream, especially in the context of how you can leverage it today. And we're going to talk about that some more in a moment too. You may be saying, yeah, Kim, that sounds all lovely, but you haven't convinced me that I can do this. I'm not super techy. I don't have a team of designers. I don't know if I can do this. So let's dig into this. What do you have to do first? What decision do you have to make when you're deciding that you're going to create your own store? You have to choose a niche first, or a product line. And I'm going to touch on this because I'm going to also show you how easy it is, maybe not to necessarily focus too far down on this initially. You can always circle back and really define it. But I feel like there is an importance to this on the front side too, in the sense of choosing the right domain name. So I want to focus in on this and talk about it because I feel like that's a part of the journey. And the further down the niche road you go, the better off you're going to be and the less you're going to have to circle back. So there's 7.9 million online shops in operation. That's a lot of stores, right? If you think about it in the context of the opportunity, that's a small amount. But you still have to stand out, and you are competing with the bigs. There's no lie there, unless you have something that's unique. You need to stand out in some capacity. And when you're choosing a specific targeted niche, it's much easier to capture the attention, the interest, and ultimately the sales of a particular group of people. So if you think about it, when you're trying to make these decisions, think about yourself as like a big fish in a small pond. How can you show up, big? Technically, there is, when I say small pond, there's still so much opportunity out there that the pond is still very small. Even though there's a lot of competition, I think there's a lot of poor competition right now. And the opportunity, if you really niche down, can be huge. So if you're thinking about this from a general perspective, I just got a couple of examples here. Dog supplies. So if you have an online store where you just sell in a bunch of dog supplies. That's one idea. Or if you really focus down and narrow that focus to just like grooming supplies for a specific type of dog, like poodle owners, for example. So see how that is narrowing the focus. So imagine this when somebody is searching for grooming supplies for their poodle, right? They're going to be searching very specifically, and they're going to more than likely find you. And that's going to be a win versus trying to be competitive and selling dog supplies is a very broad niche. And there's a whole bunch of people doing exactly that. Plus there's Amazon. But if you really narrowed that focus down, that's what I really want you to key in on here. Let's look at the other example is like online jewelry shop. How can you really focus that into something specific that people might be looking for? So when you really narrow your focus, you're really narrowing your buyer down to somebody who's searching for that thing or that item or that product. So gold-plated in-memory jewelry, for example, or hand-painted wooden jewelry. Those are all both of those are very specific things that people might be looking for, and that would help you stand out and ultimately sell your products or services in that capacity. So think about your interests and things you're passionate about, the experiences you have, what products get you really excited, what experiences have you had that make you uniquely qualified as an expert on certain products. And I would say you don't necessarily have to be an expert on the products, because there's so many things out there that are available to you that you don't have to create, that you just have to bring traffic. You have to start a store and you have to bring traffic to it. Sustainable clothing, I see Dawn is asking about that. Absolutely. There's again, could it be sustainable? And narrowing that down, Dawn, to something very specific. Sustainable t-shirts, sustainable dresses, sustainable, if you're thinking about it from a clothing perspective, how do you narrow that down even further? But that's just one thought. And then the next thing you have to focus in on is thinking about products that you yourself, or maybe this is an idea to help you narrow that focus, is to think about products that you have trouble finding yourself. So I've heard for years that people that create SaaS products, they initially started the SaaS idea or the SaaS product, and a SaaS product it's usually a tool-based company, like my friend Syed Balki, who owns a number of SaaS companies like WP Beginner, and he has all of these plugins, WordPress plugin companies. But I've heard him say exactly this. He's like, I developed whatever because I had a need for it. And if you'll think about it in that concept, like, what do you search for that you struggle for, that there's obviously a need, but nobody's filling it? That could give you an idea of, what you could put out into the world, what your store could have. And there's other ideas when it comes to, okay, how do I narrow the focus again? How do I get the best ideas? And more importantly, once you have an idea, how do you make sure that people are actually looking for it? Now, we talked about, like, if you're looking for something and can't find a resource for it, or there's not a lot of resources for it, but are other people searching for it? So you would want, one suggestion to figure that out is go over to Google's free keyword planner tool. It's totally free, and just do some research. Let's talk about how you use it first. There's a couple of things I want you to know. Once you've logged into your Google account, because most of us have a Google account. If you don't, definitely sign up for one. And then just select the discover new keywords and type in some words or key phrases related to the product or the niche that you are thinking about, that you think might be something you would want to sell, and click the get results, and it'll give you a listing of all the related words and phrases that will help you kind of niche down. And obviously you can see, the average monthly searches, the competition for it, and this will help you really figure out if other people are searching for not only what your idea is, but it'll help you potentially niche down. Like, men's wood wedding bands, for example. That obviously is fairly niche, right? That's getting on down into the nitty gritty of what people might be searching for. Now, ideally, you're going to want to choose keywords that have a higher number of searches and a lower competition score. But again, you got to do a little bit of research to make sure that your idea has merit. So do the sleuthing, check out your competition, enter your keywords into the Google search, into Amazon and Etsy and other niche online retailers, and see what other people are selling in that space. And a lot of times when you do this was really eye-opening to us when we were looking at designs for t-shirts, for example. We were like, okay, what else is out there? How do we show up and be different or unique? Or how does it apply to our niche or our brand? And so doing a little bit of research to see what other people are doing will help you immensely. Trust me on that one. And then you can also enter your keywords into Google Trends to see if you can take advantage of any current fads. This is super, super huge. So one of the things we recently did, and we added it to our store, and I will say this, we didn't market it very well, but it was still a good idea. Father's Day just recently happened, as you guys know, and we did this, popped into Google Trends to see what was trending, and lo and behold, there was the t-shirt. You guys have probably seen it. Actually, let me pull it up here and I'll show it to you. It's on my store. So let me pull up the store here, and tees. But this is an example of, finding out what is trending. So let me hover over image. Let me open this up here. So we did a couple of designs, Father's Day designs, that were in what we call the trending pile based off of, what we found. We did a little bit of research. Okay, why is that not showing up? All right, we found an issue with my website, but basically it says, you can't scare me. I have 3 daughters. We did this one, and then we did the Rad Stash Dad as well. Both of these were trending designs that we basically just created inside of Canva. And you can do exactly the same thing, by the way. So, all right. Let's talk about domain names real quick, because that's the next decision. Once you've decided in a direction and you've done some research, you've got to a place where you're feeling pretty confident that you're onto something, you're onto a good idea. The next thing is choosing your domain name. And you have to remember this, your domain name is going to be the primary way that your customers find, identify, and remember your online store. So, going back to the early days, I said this before, when in 1991, there wasn't a lot of places, and Amazon was still a rainforest. But now Amazon.com is known everywhere. It is a worldwide brand, and there's no reason that yours can't be either. So what do you need to focus on when it comes to, making sure that you've chosen a good domain name? You want it to accurately describe your products or services. You want it to be short as possible and easy to remember, because remember, you want people coming back to it. Is it good for branding? Is it free of numbers, hyphens? Does it include copyrighted names? But really, you want it to clearly convey that you're an e-com brand. And this is why I think this is so, so important right now in the context of this. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Hang on. I tell you, my mouse is doing some weird things today. All right, here we go. Enter the problem. Many times when you go to grab a domain name, you're like, I've got my idea, I've researched my product line, I'm on to something, and you're so excited. And then you go to grab your domain name and it's taken. How many of y'all have had that problem? Nora says I have an accent. Oh my gosh. All right, I don't want to get sidetracked, but Nora, you just made my day. I have always wanted an accent. Nora says I have one. Okay, we're all good. When you go to grab your domain name and somebody else has it, it's like popping the balloon. Your balloon has got all your excitement in it, and you're like, I'm pumped, I'm ready, and then you can't get the domain name you want, so somebody just popped your balloon, right? It's so frustrating. .com extensions are very hard to find because all the good ones are already taken. And really, a .com is not indicative, in my opinion, of an e-commerce brand. So this can lead you down the road of making poor decisions. You know, how many times have people said, especially if you're a personal brand, you know, I've given this this same advice to people before. Well, can you put your middle name in there, or can you put a middle initial or whatever? Or in some cases, you end up with, you know, this gosh awful long domain name that no one is going to remember, right? You're not even going to remember it. So enter the solution. .store is a great solution. Like if I say Kim.store, like that, how many of you guys would forget that? Like that is a super easy to remember. Now, if I was to try to go get Kim.com, you know, not happening. I would never get Kim.com in a million years unless I was willing to pay thousands of dollars for it. But I was able to get Kim.store. And not only did I get Kim.store, but immediately when I say that, people know that I'm selling something, right? So they know when they go there that it's going to be, there's a store and they're going to be, they have the opportunity to purchase if they want to. So going back to the jewelry example that I gave you before, maybe it's like woodenjewelry.store or woodjewelry.store or woodennecklaces.store or woodrings.store. Those are all easy for people to remember. Even wooden bangles, like if I'm looking for wooden bangles, I would remember that. Woodenbangles.store, I'm in. So the options for .store domains are so rich right now, and the best part is they're available. Like, you know, more than likely you're going to be able to find your chosen domain with a .store extension. So, and like I said before, .store has that built-in call to action that says, come buy from me. And they're going to know right away, obviously, that they can do that. So less guessing and more sales, bottom line. So that's the next step, is grabbing your domain name. Next up, you have to choose, how are you going to build your storefront? So if you've got your idea, you've got your domain name, next up is, okay, how do I put my stuff up? And let's go through this. And I'm going to talk about this before I talk about the product lines and things and how you would create your own products. So the simplest and most popular non-techy option is Shopify, you guys. Now, Shopify is a very well-known brand for e-com. And the reason I recommend it first is because of its ease of use. You can also grab a 14-day free trial if you want to like test it out and see what you think about it. It's Garst.com/Shopify. And again, just sign up, see what you think, play around with it a little bit. I'm not sure why my text is super small here, but we're going to deal with it. But some of the things that it lets you do, it lets you create a logo for your store totally for free. So there's assets in the back that allow you to, you know, quickly create your logo. You can choose a professional looking pre-built website theme, so you don't have to worry about designing your shop, making it look pretty, because there's a lot of templates are already pre-designed for you. You can also find products to sell. You can start accepting and collecting payments using Shopify. And the best part about it, in my opinion, after your 14 days, all you have to pay to keep your store in place and up and operational is $29 a month. So it's very low cost. There's no inventory requirements. It tracks everything for you. And there's a lot of additional functionality with Shopify. I won't go into all that so much right now, but Shopify is a great option for you if you're just getting started. Now, if you want something a little more customizable and maybe you have a little skill with design, then I'm going to suggest WooCommerce. It's a plugin for WordPress. We ended up going with WooCommerce because we were already using it for some other stuff, and I do have a tech team. If you don't have a tech team and you're not super techy or you're not super design savvy, Shopify is absolutely the best option for you. WooCommerce is another option, again, if you're a little more techy, you have some design skills, etc. But those are my two top picks for you. Again, based on which pile you're in, are you uber techy or a little techy? Then you can choose based on those that criteria. Man, something is going all wrong, wonky with my text today. But if you want to use WooCommerce, it's a WordPress plugin. So if you have a WordPress website, you're in business, all you have to do is download it, install it, and you are in business. All right, let's talk products. So going back, we're going to reiterate, you got your idea, you did some research, you've chosen a domain name, you've set up the framework for your storefront. What are you going to put in your store? So the next question is, do you drop ship or do you source your own products? Okay, so when we were first starting down this road, I was like, okay, I know we could source our own products. I know we could probably get a wholesaler, arrangement somewhere. We could probably even get somebody to drop ship the stuff for us after we purchased it. But do we want to? Do we want the hassle of trying to figure all that out? And the short answer was no, we did not. So we started looking into companies, drop shipping companies that had products already in place that all we had to do was create designs for them. So how many of you guys are like, I could do that? If I just had this company that I would sign up for, and they would have t-shirts and mugs and bags and pillows and notebooks and stuff that I could sell. And by the way, those are just some ideas that we ran across, but there's literally drop shippers and companies out there that sell all kinds of things, all kinds of inventory. There's jewelry companies out there where you can put your own designs on them and sell them on your storefront, but you don't have to create any of it. What? Really? Yes, really. So let me share the two companies that we are currently using with you. So we are currently using Printify and Printful. Now, why are we using two? Well, because one had some things that the other didn't, and in some cases, we like the quality of one company's product line better than we like the other. So these are just two examples, though. Both of these, and I'm going to pull up one so you guys can see. Hang on just a second. Print. Hang on, we'll pull this up. Let me get. All right, here we go. Okay, so here's Printful. So start selling, or you can actually order. But the point is that they have all of this print on demand stuff. So they have book bags. Let me just see. Let me show you some of the things they have. So maybe this will get your creative juices flowing. T-shirts and tank tops, drinkware. So the little stainless steel things, they could be totally designed for you and your brand. They have swimwear, they have hats, they have dresses, they have posters and canvas prints, hint, hint. They have stud earrings, they have skirts. They have flip-flops, sports bras, bags, leggings, ladies, they have leggings, I'm just saying. They have socks, they have keychains, they have shirts, the embroidered shirts, beach towels, hoodies, embroidered aprons, face masks, jackets, joggers, engraved jewelry, laptop cases, blankets. All of these things can be customized with your design, and all you have to do is add it to your storefront. When you add it to your storefront, anybody can purchase it and you are in business. So going back to my site, so all the things that are currently in my store are either coming or in Printful or in Printify. So all these things, so like you can see the coffee, Zoom, repeat, all of these designs were created inside of Canva as well. And that brings me to the next thing I want to show you is how easy it is for you to do exactly this. Now, the interesting part about Canva, and you can do this whether it's easel.com, Canva does have a lot of print-on-demand things now. So I'm excited to show you a couple of tricks. The interesting thing is, like, let's say you wanted to start mugs, do some mugs, coffee mugs. All right, so I'm just going to type in mug, and look, y'all, look. All these mug designs comes up. These are already things that are already, created for you. Coffee makes me sparkle and shine. All I need is caffeine and my cat. Dream big. So the point is that Canva has a lot of pre-designed stuff, or you can create your own. And all you need to do is upload this design to Printful or Printify or any other similar style of dropshipping company, and you are in business. You now have if you decide you're going to do a line of, let's just look at this real quick, an idea for you. Let's say you wanted to create a storefront that sold, that was designed for cat lovers, and you just wanted to sell cat mugs, cat loving mugs, right? So look, there's this one, meowed and loving it, professional cat parent, all I need is caffeine and my cat. I mean, look at all of these that are already created for you. That's a very specific niche. Number one, cat parent. You could have a line of, and here's another one. All I need is a perfect cup of coffee. Point is, you could come into Canva, you could immediately have a product line. In some cases, they're already pre-designed for you. So this is one idea. Here's another. Let's look at t-shirts. So point is, by sharing this with you, is create a blank t-shirt. You could design your own, or you can use any of the ones that are already created inside of Canva. Now, one thing I will make sure I want to key in on, because you want to make sure that you're not violating any copyright rules. I'm assuming that all of these assets, you'll want to come in here and make sure these are, every component of this design is free, that it's not a pro level asset that you would need to pay for. So just, from a copyright perspective, make sure you manage that piece of it, and do your research on that. But that is how you do your own store in a very short window of time. And once you design certain things inside of Canva, you can also put those things over on Amazon so that you have another traffic source. Now, that doesn't drive traffic to your primary e-com site, but it gives you another place to sell your products and services that has a built-in traffic source for you, Amazon. So you could set up a merch account. That's what it's called. You'll just have to Google that. It's merch. Sign up for it. And all of your, if you decide on a t-shirt line or a mug line, or you want to do a combination, or even if you're doing, I think it's just mugs and t-shirts, and hoodies and things like that over on merch. But the point is, you could use those designs that you create inside of Canva or Easel or any design tool for that matter, and then sell them in multiple places using merch. Okay, so I promised you guys that we were going to give away 5 stores today, and we're going to do that. We're going to pick the winners here in just a moment. But if you don't win today and you want to get started on this journey, go to Kim.store.com/get domain, and you can actually get a $29 domain for $1.99. So my challenge to you is go grab your domain. Maybe grab a couple of them at $1.99. You can't go wrong. And start thinking about this, because this could create an additional revenue stream in your business. So a couple of thoughts. Let me just show you one other thing. Like, I know you guys have probably seen this, but I'm going to just give you an example of how you could potentially use this concept to on other social platforms, specifically like YouTube. All right, hang on just a second. I'm going to pull this up and show you an example.
To get started with video, all you need.
All right. I got to turn the audio off on these videos so that, hang on. All right, here we go. All right, back up on the screen. Here we go. Okay, so look at, this is my friend Sean Cannell. We had Sean on as a guest talking about YouTube just a few weeks ago. And one of the things that he does from an e-com perspective is he lists all of his product line underneath his videos on YouTube. So he has a Rise and Grind Sunshine t-shirt, he has a sweatshirt, he has mugs, and hats, etc. And he puts all of these on his YouTube channel, you guys. So that's another traffic source for you that's built in. It's a built-in opportunity so that you could, again, leverage things, especially from a personal brand perspective. If you say things routinely, like, I'll just pull my website back up here real quick and I'll point that out to you. So obviously for me, when I was trying to decide on product lines and designing product lines for my business, you know, social media is a big part of it. So we did some emoji mugs. You know, I like to share inspiration a lot. So we did some inspirational mugs. But you know, we did some things that were a part of the journey too, you know, like do it messy. This was definitely a down and dirty, let's just get it out there, do it messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we created a mug. That's such a big message that we want to impart to our community. There's never a perfect time for anything. So doing the messy, it gets it out there. You can refine anything, but if you don't get started, you're not going to get anything done. So doing it messy, we did the dad things. Of course, the coffee Zoom repeats, such a big thing right now. We had my friend Ryan, oh goodness, what was Ryan? Can't think of Ryan's last name. But anyway, I say this all the time, and he created the stick figure mug, serve, don't sell. You know, the Pinterest mug we put up here. Just so a lot of these are very specific to me and my personality, or things that are happening that have messaging that matters to me and to my community. You know, so what would that look like for you? You could do exactly the same thing. You could get started just like I'm doing and refine it. So part of the refining process for us is the bigger message of the store. The bigger message of the store is a workplace that create a place where you're going to love to work. And so that's going to be necessitate getting some of these other product lines up and operational, which is this wall art we're working on building out, as well as, you know, the notebooks and the mouse pads and the things, all the things that ultimately you need in your workspace is the vision that I have for the store. We're not quite there yet, but that's the vision that I have long-term that I'm working towards. So how many of you guys are excited about potentially adding a revenue stream to your business? I want to hear from you. Awesome. Lisa says, list on YouTube. Yes, that's such a great way to get your products in front of a whole new audience. And interestingly enough, you don't have to have a bunch of followers on YouTube to get that. If they find your video, they're going to see your products underneath it. So Lisa's saying, yes, she's ready to do this. Great idea to create a store for our workplaces. Thanks, Chuck. All right, so Marie says it's already it's been on her to-do list. So same for me, Marie. So let me just share this real quick. So I've had the desire to do physical products probably for 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, but I just didn't pull the trigger because I thought it was going to sideline me. I thought it was going to be super hard to do. And then when we got started, it wasn't super hard to do. We had to make a few core decisions, which I went over today with you. You know, we had to decide, okay, what's our storefront going to be about? You know, what's our niche? Then we had to what we've refined, by the way. And then the next thing was, what domain are we going to use? You know, are we going to use the personal brand? How are we going to manage that? You know, are we going to do products? Are we going to manage the products ourselves, or are we just going to let somebody else do it? And so that was just like a no-brainer. Once we made those decisions, everything else fell into place. All right, so Chuck, Moran, Lisa, Dawn, Nora, and Maggie got a free domain today, y'all. So if you didn't win, if your name wasn't chosen as a winner today, $1.99, and you can get your own .store domain by going to Kim.store.com/get domain. And, you know, grab a couple. If you're not quite sure yet what you want to do, but you think you want to do this, definitely snap up a couple of domains until you figure it out, or do your research first. That would be the smarter thing to do. Do your research, and then you can circle back and buy your domain. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm so glad to hear that. Well, I'm not Jay Bear, but I did improvise, and I felt like this was a really great journey and a story to share, because, like I say, you know, a lot of times people look at you and they're like, well, yeah, you've got a store, but you have all these resources at your fingertips, and I don't have that. You don't have to have that. That's what's so beautiful today, is all you have to do is make 3 core decisions. You know, what are you passionate about? What product line, you know, do you think you want to go with? Do some research on it, choose a domain name, and drop ship or not. It's pretty easy. Of course, now I say drop ship or not, but I'm leaning towards you can't do this super easy if you don't choose a drop shipper, because then you have to source products, and that takes you down a whole other road. So Gustav is asking, you know, how much can you make? The sky is the limit, really. It really is. So let's talk about that real quick. That's such a great question. So inside of Printful and all of these dropship companies, you can establish your own pricing. So if you want a 50% markup on something, then you just have to price it appropriately. So every product in any of these drop shippers has a set price. So if maybe a mug is $6, that's what you have to pay them. Okay, so if you know your fixed cost of goods is going to be $6, then how much profit do you want to make? Is it 50%? Then you have to tack on from there. Is it 100%? Like if a mug is only going to cost you $6, and it's a custom mug with a message that's specific that you can't get somewhere else, then people might pay, you know, $22, $25 for that mug. And that's a pretty good profit margin. So there's no set pricing inside of these, outside of your fixed cost of goods, that you have to pay the drop shipper, and of course your shipping. But interestingly enough, the customer pays the shipping. So you really don't have any out-of-pocket expenses at all, other than your domain. I should have said that before. Let me say that again. You don't really have any out-of-pocket. Well, let me restate that. You have to have your storefront. So if you choose Shopify, after your 14-day trial, there is a $29 monthly fee. but you don't have to purchase a bunch of product. You don't have to store it in your garage. You don't have to handle the product. You don't have to ship the product. You don't have to pay for shipping. None of those things. So technically you can have a store for $29 a month and $1.99 for your domain name a year. Wow. That's unheard of. Thinking back to the early days of e-com when, you could put up a website selling widgets, any kind of widget. That was a process, and it would cost you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, depending on the complexity of the website back in the day. It would definitely have cost you thousands of dollars. And then you would have had to have the products stored in your garage, and you'd had to ship them. None of that is the issue today. There's so many resources out there today that you don't have to worry about any of that. Even from a design perspective, if you feel like, well, I'm not a super duper designer, go to Canva and look at some of the designs they have already. Or hire somebody on Fiverr to create a unique design. There's no barrier to entry here at all. None, except in your head. All right. So there's my little kick in the tush for you today. If this is something you want to do and you've been thinking about it, but you just didn't know how to do it, like I say, it's super easy. There is no reason today that anyone cannot have an e-com store as an additional revenue stream or as their big thing. If you're starting a business today and you just want to get started, not quite sure how to do it, I just kind of told you. Hint, hint. All right. Are there any questions? I didn't see any as I was going. I tried to catch all the comments, but if there's any questions, Chuck says, been there, done that, never again. He doesn't want to sell stuff, pack his garage full of stuff and worry about shipping it. Yeah, this is a fairly easy process that, just with a couple of decisions and a little bit of research. And so Nora's asking, Dropified. Honestly, Nora, they all do it all for you. Printify, Printful, there is if you go to the Google machine and just type in dropshipping companies, you'll find a ton of them. And that some of them have different product lines. So the Printful and Printify that I shared with you, they have the t-shirts and the mugs and things like that. But there's some specialized drop shippers that have, specific things that, you might be looking for, like even pet products or let me see, what's a word I'm looking for? Cosmetics. There we go. There's actually drop shippers that will brand your stuff, like a whole product line for you, if you want to sell something very specific. So you just need to do a little bit of research. If you're just getting started and you just want to get your toe in, dip your toe in, then definitely start with, one of these drop shippers. Thank you, Rita. So Marty is asking, could you make a checklist for us? That's such a great idea. I will work on that because, again, the cord, I'm writing a blog post on this. It'll be out in hopefully in a few days, but just circling back to it. I tell you what, Marty, let me work on this and then I'll make a little note of getting it out to you when we get it done. But I think that would be super helpful to have a checklist of what you need to do to get rolling. It's just it's basically 3 core decisions with a little bit of research in the middle. All right. So Lisa's, she's going to go take care of this. So again, if you are interested, but you're not quite sure all the pieces yet, I highly recommend just going and grabbing a domain name. If you have an idea, it's, $1.99. Again, go to Kim.store.com/get domain. You get a .store extension and, get started. Check it out. Okay, it looks like Bruce had a question. Let me see if I can find Bruce's question. I tell you, sometimes they go by so fast that I miss them. Oh, here we go. So Bruce is saying, what is the difference between selling your courses and selling branded cups and t-shirts? They're two separate things, in my opinion. Now, could you sell your courses and your branded cups and t-shirts on the same site? Yeah, you could. You absolutely could. So that's another idea for you. So those of you who are, in fact, that's something we're going to put on our site and eventually, where we're going to have some additional things there as well that lead back to, the work from home mission that the website has. But branded cups and t-shirts are just another revenue stream, Bruce. Bottom line. Those are opportunities for you to, get people to spend a little bit of money too, instead of a lot of money. So traditionally, if a course could be, something huge, it could be, $2,000, for example, or anything underneath, or actually anything above as well. But traditionally, most training courses are less than $2,000. And somebody might not be necessarily ready for that yet, but they love the messaging that you have on your cups or your t-shirts. Or another idea is, when somebody goes through your course and they start to identify within the community, then there's an opportunity to have a line of t-shirts or a line of mugs where people will buy those to showcase that they're a part of this community, that they're a part of this mission, that they're a part of something that's bigger than themselves. So that's another idea for those of you who are selling digital products and services, is to, give people a way to identify with what it is you're building. The mission, the vision. All right. All right. All right, I hope this has been helpful for those of you who joined me. I know we went over just a little bit today, but I'm always appreciative when you spend time with me. And I hope you've got something great, got some nuggets that you can run with, and I can't wait to see what you create. So share it, because I would love to know once you get going. Seriously, you could start down this road and do this in a day. I promise you could. So let me know. I'm looking forward to it. Take care of yourselves. God bless, and stay safe.